Daniel as they make this wedding vow. And I always tell people at a wedding, I said, you know, the priest is not here. That's the only sacrament where the couple actually performs the sacrament with each other. The priest is simply here to witness the sacrament on behalf of the church. And it's the only sacrament that's that way. Usually the priest has to hear the confession and give the penance, or the priest has to consecrate the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Christ. This is the only sacrament where the priest is just kind of a bystander in a way. I get to watch them show their love to each other. I think when we first met, Dan and Cassie and I, it must have been like 4 months ago, 5 months ago, 6 months ago. So it was a transition, so I didn't get here till July. We had a lot of fun. But they told me when their wedding date was, October 6th. And I'm like, wow, it's a great day. Anyone know what feast day it is today? The Feast of Saint Bruno. You don't know who Saint Bruno is? Saint Bruno. And so we share something in common, an anniversary. So I was ordained a deacon 6 years ago on this day on the Feast of Saint Bruno. But it's a great way to think about it. You know, 6 years ago, I gave up self for church. You know, today you give up self for each other in a beautiful bond of marriage. And from this day on, you know, you may look the same, you may act the same, but you're different. And through this sacrament, as our gospel says, you don't become two flesh anymore. You become one. Now, we spent the last few months working together, preparing, and I always remember like, our second meeting we met, and we were sitting there talking, and I said, okay, we need to set up our next class. So how about next month? You know, every month we had about 6 classes, you know, marriage prep, 6 months, six classes, and it's not because we want to be torturous, but that's how important the church thinks preparation is for marriage. Because it's not something you just do, it's something that it changes you. It's a sacrifice. It's forever. And so we were talking and about the second meeting, and I said, okay, how about like 4 weeks now we'll meet again? And they said, well, can we meet like in 2 weeks? I'm like, no one has ever asked to meet more with me. First time ever. I'm like, wow. I'm like, sure, we can meet more. And so we met like every 2 weeks. And why did they want to meet every 2 weeks? Because they wanted to start right with their marriage. What a beautiful thing. To want to talk about the sacrament more. We want to talk about how their past lives, how they come together, and the different challenges that might face them in the future. They wanted more time to prepare for this day. We talked about being, there's 4 pillars of marriage, talked about being a total. When someone comes, you'll hear it when I ask them the 3 questions before we do the wedding vows. There's 4 things that make the sacrament the sacrament. Without one of those 4 pillars, it's not a sacrament. Being totally committed to one another. Being free to enter in the marriage sacrament. Dan's not being forced here. Being total, being free, being faithful. And faithful is not just faithful today, but faithful for their whole lives together. And the last F is being fruitful, because we all want grandchildren, right? Be honest with us, right? And cousins. Those are the 4 pillars which make this sacrament truly take hold as they give themselves to one another. Now, you didn't come here to hear me talk, but 3 things I want to give Cassandra and Dan. 3 points, just in my short time of priesthood, I think make for a successful marriage. First of all, their desire to meet with me more. Desire to want to be ready for this day. Our first reading, we actually we didn't make the reading of ourselves, but we spliced it our own way. We looked at the book and Dan was like, you know, I like this reading, but I don't like that part there. So we used a different part of that Song of Songs. He goes, I don't want leaping gazelles in the wedding mass. So we took the leaping gazelles out, and we went a little bit further down. And at the beginning of the Song of Songs, the person, you can say male or female, was seeking the one they loved. And they weren't finding the person they were seeking until they finally found the one. And it says they were not going to let them go. Think of the joy you had when you first met, when you first realized that you were meant for each other. That God had this plan. That joy, never forget it. Let it go through your whole life. The joy when you first met, the joy of this day, and that joy will grow as you get older and you're more mature and grow in your married life for one another. Sometimes we think, oh, I'll never be as happy as I was on my wedding day. That's not true. It really isn't. We should be happier. I see old couples come to Mass and holding the doors for each other, helping in. I mean, what love? What joy of marriage. Never lose that joy. Always think back. You finally found him. You finally found her. That's Song of Songs. Next, as we started the Mass today, we gave glory to God. First thing we do at the wedding Mass, we give glory to God. Never forget that God brought you together. Things don't just happen for no reason. And to give thanks for that. Always keep God in your marriage. God brought you together. God keeps you together. But remember that when you live your life and give thanks to God, you pray together. You pray and you recognize what God has done for you. And even prayers for a married couple is different. Because instead of saying praying for just what you want, you pray for what we want, right? That two flesh, once again, becomes one. And finally, our gospel. We were choosing the gospel, and after we read the gospel, first of all, they said they wanted a little bit of doctrine in there. So the Benedictine was really in there. They wanted that doctrine in there. But they also said that one word they said is, it shows the permanence of marriage. The two become one, and what nobody can break. But that requires sacrifice. In our greatest model, we have lots of models for a married couple in your life so you can emulate, parents and grandparents and whatever you can emulate. But the greatest model for marriage is right there. Jesus Christ, who gave up everything out of love for us. When we become one flesh, you sacrifice everything for the other. It's not about me anymore, it's about her. It's not about me anymore, it's about him. That's how you become one flesh. In the cathedral, I was at cathedral for 3 years, and most of the people, been to cathedral, everybody been to cathedral? You look at if you haven't been there, you should go and look at the stained glass windows there. I love the stained glass windows on the left and the right. You have one on the Marian side and one on the St. Joseph's side. And in them, you have a statue, a picture of Mary in the middle of stained glass. And all around Mary, you have different vocations of women. And on the St. Joseph's side, you have St. Joseph in the middle, and all different vocations for men. Go to the women's side, and in my opinion, the most important image would be the one that's 12 o'clock, right? The one right above Mary. What do you think that image is of? It is of a bride. It's of a bride. Mother, she said motherhood, but a bride is, the greatest vocation of a woman is a bride, being a mother. That's why she wears white. Her dignity is being a bride and hopefully soon mother. Daniel, what do you think on the St. Joseph side when the 12 o'clock is? Not a groom. Good guess. It's actually a man carrying a bale of hay. Because you're to work for your bride. Right? But in reality, there's some truth in it. You want to work for your bride. That's what, you toil, we toil. She's the bride. Come on. But you work for your bride. Not just for all of it. You work together. Now, my favorite Bible verse is from the book of Sirach. And I leave you with this. You are soon to be a husband and wife. But never forget your friends first. And the best of friends. The book of Sirach, we hear, a faithful friend is a sturdy shelter. He who finds one finds a treasure. Sandra, you have found a treasure in him. Always treasure him. Daniel, you have found quite a treasure in Cassandra. Please remind yourself of the treasure she is. I would now like to invite the wedding couple and the wedding party to come forward. Okay, this is the moment we've all been waiting for. Dearly beloved, you have come together into the house of the church, so that in the presence of the church's minister and the community, your intention to enter into marriage may be strengthened by the Lord with a sacred seal. Christ abundantly blesses the love that binds you. Through a special sacrament, he enriches and strengthens those he has already consecrated by holy baptism, that they may be faithful to each other forever and assume all the responsibilities of married life. And so, in the presence of the church, I ask you to state your intentions. Cassandra and Daniel, have you come here to enter into marriage without coercion, freely and wholeheartedly?
We have.
Are you prepared, as you follow the path of marriage, to love and honor each other for as long as you both shall live? Are you prepared to accept children lovingly from God and to bring them up according to the law of Christ and his church?
We are.
Since it is your intention to enter the covenant of holy matrimony, now I ask you to declare your consent before God and his church.